Welcome back to VADA Live. I'm your host, Dan Kerrigan. We're at VADA's headquarters in downtown Richmond. We have an in-person one-on-one interview. We're going to talk about a really important topic with a new VADA partner, and that is Dealer Tag Tracker. To answer some really important questions, one of which, do you know where your dealer tags are? Stay tuned for this fun discussion. President of new VADA partner, Dealer Tag Tracker, in for Washington, D.C. Michael, welcome to VADA Live and VADA generally. Now we're at headquarters here.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
So we have a lot to dive into with this discussion, but let's just start with your quick origin story. How did this come to be? What sparked Dealer Tag Tracker? I mean, really, what brought you into this space?
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually was in Florida, and I was down there on vacation, and a 550 Mercedes-Benz pulled up with a dealer tag on the back from Virginia, and I got excited because I figured I'd know who the dealer was, and I could say, hey, how you doing, and say hello. And so when I approached the vehicle, the guy, I started talking to him, and he was like, what are you talking about? I'm not a dealer. And I was like, you're not a dealer. You're 4 states out, you're 1,400 miles away, and you're driving a $160,000 asset. And he said, oh, this is my loaner car. And I said, your loaner car? And he says, yeah. He says, I bought a brand new car. They told me, just to go ahead and take this car. They put a dealer tag on it real quickly. And my wife and I were like, well, let's go take a little vacation. And they'll call us when they're done, and we'll drive back home. Wow. So immediately I got in the car, and my wife looked at me and she said, you have to solve for that problem. So I started looking out and started researching what dealer tags are doing, where they're going, how they're being used, reading articles about them, etc. And went out to NADA. I stayed on the floor for 3 days looking to see if anybody had my solution to the problem. Nobody did, and off and running we went.
Wow, and that is a start, but that is far from your first foray in the car business, I understand.
Correct, yes. I had been in 2 other acquisitions that were sold to ADP. You know them now as CDK. And so I was in 2 acquisitions, then I went in my own acquisition. I had a small company called Sistron Warranty Wizard, and I sold that to ADP as well.
This is a bit of an entrepreneur question, because you mentioned that with your background to it. What is it like to start a company in the dealership space? Now, I know this is for dealers. Talk to me a little bit about that in this current climate.
It is so difficult because the hardest part is okay, you have the idea, but then to execute on the idea. And the greatest part about the execution was that I found was finding a great investor partner. So I have an investor partner who is very bright, very successful in the car dealer business, and he's my advisor, and he's my finance person who's financing this venture. So he's really smart. The hardest part was finding an engineer to build it. Engineers have no idea what they're talking about other than what they want to talk about. So putting software and engineering together to actually make the tracker was very, very difficult.
What were any key lessons for somebody who want to tackle, say, a project with engineering involved, bringing the creative side to business as well as the technical together?
Yeah, you got to make sure that you get those 2 people in the room, and then you get them out in the field, and you actually are showing them what goes on in the dealership, how a dealership actually works, and then immerse them in the actual solution. And that was what really took place. And so when I went to my advisor, he said, listen, if we can't patent this, he said, I'm not going to give you $1 unless this is a patentable product. So fortunately, we were able to patent it. We had to use an engineer to draft the patent. So we got the patent even done now. It's been patented. We got it in record time. It was 9 months. So we are a fully patented product as well.
Wow, congratulations on clearing that hurdle.
Thank you very much.
Just so dealers understand exactly the problem you're solving for, and what is it, just the everything, and what do you do as a company?
Exactly. So every dealer in the country has dealer tags, right? And so they run on these dealer tags, and typically they don't know where the dealer tags are at all times. So they may have 20 upwards to 100 tags at a dealership store. So what my product does is it gives them the ability to attach it to the tag and track the tag throughout the dealership at all times. So they can know where the tag is going, what the speed is of the tag. We can make a geofence around the dealership so they'll know when the tag comes out of the dealership and when it comes back into the dealership, which is a great compliance issue for the DMV and the motor vehicle boards of all these states, especially Virginia, so that they can just monitor and give them reports when they're audited of these are where my tags have been running for the last 30, 60, 90, even we can go out to 2 years of data. Yeah.
Any feedback from dealers to date with whom you've been working?
Yeah, we've had some great feedback from dealers. I won't mention any names of the ones that we've already signed. We have about 27 rooftops and about 700 tags on the road right now. And one of the greatest stories, success stories I would call it, was we signed up a dealership. He has 55 dealer tags. It's a southern dealership, and one of the tags I noticed was in DC. So I called the dealer and I said, hey, I noticed that one of your tags is in DC. And he said, why would one of my dealer tags be in DC? And I said, well, I can go check it out if you'd like to. And he said, do you feel comfortable doing that? I go, yeah, sure. So I went and found the car, got the VIN, and he looked up the VIN. They had actually sold that car 180 days prior to that. And what happened was the temporary tag was expiring. They panicked and they put a dealer tag on the vehicle so the person could go on their trip vacation. And so that's how that dealer tag got out of the state, and they had no control over it. So had it been into an accident, it would have fallen back on the dealership as a result of that. So that was a huge success story of the dealer tags that we put out there on the street right now.
And as we're talking real world too, we love diving into, okay, from the process end of things,
correct.
How would this be, we'll say, ingratiated into a dealership, small and large as well? Picture busy Saturday or just busy day, generally speaking. How is this really, if someone says, hey, I'm interested in this, how can they think about this going into their workflow, or think about how this could be something they want to incorporate into just their day-to-day processes?
Yeah, great question. I mean, once we go in and we actually put the trackers on each tag, right, they can then go into our database, and then our database will show them exactly where the tags are at all times. So they can give them by salesperson if they want to assign them to a salesperson, or they can just assign it to a tag number. But they can always just go in, and you can go into different levels. So the general manager can have his own login. The dealer owner can have his login. Even a salesperson can have a login just to see his tag number. We can do different things. And then the flow is very quick because you can find the tag, you can easily access the tag, you can know where the tag's going. You can put them on overnight vehicles, and you can know that they're not going out of your geofence 100, they're not taking them to the beach for the weekend, going to get a bunch of sand in them and then say, no, I don't want the car, thank you, but I needed a car for the weekend. So that's the kind of stuff that we're monitoring through the process of adding the tags to this product.
Is it a platform involved too? And how can someone set their alerts as we're in an alert-heavy environment?
Yes,
now?
Alerts are great. We can set all kinds of alerts. We can set alerts for, so one of the biggest alerts is speed. I don't know if you've heard, but there's been some lawsuits that have been going on with dealer plates that are going over speed limits too fast. And then it's, again, it's not the responsibility of the driver, it's the responsibility of the tag associated with that vehicle. So speed's one of them. Geofence is another one. That's another good alert. It could be it's moving at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you want to know if it's moving at 2 o'clock in the morning, and it can alert you. And I've got a great story, but I won't go into that. But that's another one where it was an alert that it was going at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that shouldn't have been leaving at 2 o'clock in the morning. So yes, so that's all defined things that they can put in our system, and I can do it on our side, on our management side, or the dealer can do it on their side as well.
And understanding there is, of course, a compliance element to this, but the question being, it's really obvious, dealers are really, really busy. There's a lot going on right now for someone that says, hey, you get it, but I got a lot going on. What do you say to folks about perhaps prioritizing this, or how should they, as far as importance in the service that you're offering?
Yeah, and I've talked to Don Hall and I've talked to Bruce about this in depth, and honestly, the thing is, and Don Hall taught me this years ago, is that the dealer plates are a privilege in the state of Virginia for the dealers. They are not, it's not a right to have these dealer tags. So it is conceivable that there could be a day where the legislature, through violations or not being able to manage these dealer plates, where they're taken away. That will cost dealers lots, thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, because then they would have to hard tag their tags to do demos, right? To do demonstrations of their vehicles. So we don't want to lose this privilege. So in my position of designing this and coming up with this idea, I think the major thing to come out of this is that dealers need to be cognizant of the fact that we really do want to know how these plates are being used, when they're being used, and what's going on with them. And if they get lost and stolen, it's easier to report to, obviously, the DMV that they're lost and stolen.
Love to see a demo. If you have any examples, so happen that you do.
I'm so glad you asked.
Wow, that is
thank you very
prepared
much.
somehow.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is essentially what would be the back end of the plate, or what you would have on there.
This is a fresh plate, right, that we would actually bring out to the dealership. This is the actual called smart frame. So this is the patented smart frame. All the technology is in the bottom half of this frame. And then what happens is that you take these two tamper-proof screws out, and then you slide your plate onto it. And this, you see this tape I have over here, this is a magnet. So if somebody tries to take the plate off of this, it will alert you by email immediately that it's been tampered with, which is really nice. So this is a plate that you would start with. This is with the plate on. So this is how the dealer plate would look on. And by the way, I bought this on Reddit for $150. So all I would need to do is steal off a sticker, and I could make this a live tag for whatever purposes I want. But just to let you know, they're out there. And so this is what it looks like on the plate, and this is a functioning tag on the plate. And then you can use the manufacturer screws just to screw the plate onto the vehicle and screw the plate on. And it always goes with the tag. So the beauty of this is it always goes with the tag. And then I have I'm very happy to announce we just signed a partnership with Keeper Systems, which is the key system where they house the keys and store the keys. And this doggle you flip up, and this actually is so that the dealers that have the box can actually lock it into the system box like they do the keys. So when the individual gets the keys, they would take the keys and then pull the tag out, and then they both sync up together and away they go. So they know exactly who has the tag when they take it out of the box.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how we came out. This is the fourth rendition, by the way, talking about engineering. And we believe we've really got it down pat, and everybody we show this to loves it, and they just think it's a great product.
I was going to say, what has the reaction been, and has there been a mass order yet?
It's been good. Yeah, we are drinking from a fire hose, if you will, which is good. We have over 700 plates on the street since our launch 2 months ago, which represents about 27 rooftops, which is incredible. And we're growing big. This NADA endorsement from Don Hall is going to be very, very important to us. Don is so good in the legislature. He's just one of the best. And when he endorses something, he doesn't take it lightly. So this is a very big step for us.
As far as the dealer ROI may not be the right way to view it, but what is an investment from their side of things, and knowing that it's perhaps the platform, the tech, you have the hardware with it,
yes.
the cost price point that comes with that as well. What do you think that ROI is for them? Yeah,
that's a great question. The ROI is all about risk. And the dealers have so much risk. And I talked to a dealer last week who has 7 rooftops. And I said to him on the Teams call, because I'm old and now I'm trying to learn Teams and, not seeing people in person. But I said to him, I said, listen, there's a reason why this tag says dealer. It does not say general manager. It does not say sales manager. It says dealer. And I said, your responsibility is, and your risk is making sure you know where these things are at all times. Because if something happens on these dealer tags, it's your risk, it's coming to you, and they're going to come after you. They're not coming after the sales guy. They're not coming after the general manager. They're coming after you, the dealer principal. So it's all about taking that risk off the table. But there has been other examples where they've used them for sales issues, where they see the car out on the road going on a test drive, and when the salesman comes back into the dealership, they can get on that deal right away and say, hey, Mr. Customer, did you like the car? You don't want to spend any more time doing this. Let's go in and let's cut this deal and do this deal. So that's the other part of the ROI, that it's speeding up the whole sales transactions in the dealership as well.
Wow. Has that been something dealers have been mentioning as a plus or a benefit?
Yes, that's been the feedback we've been getting, correct. Yep.
As far as just the product, what are next steps for you and the group? We're meeting you and talking at a point in time where you have a lot going on. We're here at VADA. We always love to ask that future forward question, and knowing that you have a product that meets the needs for dealers. Will this evolve? Is there anything else in the pipeline? What's new and upcoming for you?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked, and we've got some secret sauce that I'll share with you. So legislation is coming down through the dealer body, the manufacturer body, and the manufacturers are going to make every key fob Bluetooth. Okay, so that's going to be something that's going to be mandated by the manufacturers, we believe, in the next 2 years. So what's really cool about that is that we will be able to Bluetooth our TagTracker to the actual fob of the key, and then they'll both sync up, and you'll know exactly which car that is going on and how long the test drive has gone for, where the test drive went. So all those two components will be synced up into the dealer management system as well. Because right now we're just we're just doing what we do, which is take care of the dealer risk on the dealer plates.
And for those where that may not be top of mind at the moment, say,
Correct.
Okay, what do you tell those folks if they're hesitant or resident at all in adopting?
I tell them, I say, take your chances. I think if you read the data out there and you read the articles, and I can share articles, I have 20 articles that I can share about what's going on with these dealer tags. If you're hesitant about buying them, or you're hesitating about partnering up with us, I can definitely show you reasons why they should do that in quick order on top of the endorsement. I can guarantee you Don would have never endorsed us if he didn't think that there was a reason to do that. So.
And you mentioned your wife played a key role in the genesis of this company as well. What's her take on the tech and the company?
It was a slow roll. I think at the beginning she was like, you really going to do this? Like, you're 62 years, well, now at the start I was 60. And she's like, you're really going to take this on? I'm like, you know what? I love the car business. I love the dealers. And I love this product, and I said, I can't stop. And so we have been. And again, if I didn't have my financial advisor, I couldn't tell you. He has been very patient, and that's what it takes, patience. And I don't have patience, but he has the patience of, hey, just keep going. You're doing a great job. Keep doing. I've got you funded. Don't worry about it. He's in the car business. He knows the business, and so that's been between my wife and him, and they know each other very well. They've been the push of, okay, now it's time to act. No one's got it, and we have the patent, and we're on our way. So
that is amazing. Well, appreciate your time. You've been hearing from Michael Smith, who is president and founder of Dealer TagTracker, a new VADA partner, and was on site here at headquarters for a special interview. I'm Dan Kerrigan for VADA Live, and we'll see you next time.